And it's just, well, it's not like have to because you laugh.
Well, I don't understand the Connecticut thing because that's still in New England. So I don't understand. You get snow. Like, what's the problem?
I'm telling you, people don't understand snow like they do when you come from real snow country. I mean, snow around here, snow even where you are, that's not real snow.
Yeah.
You know what real snow is? Real snow is where you get up in the morning and you have to start driving in 8 inches.
Real snow is when you have to
real snow.
Open up your second floor window to get out of your house.
Yeah, that's real snow. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even around here, you get an inch of snow on the ground and people are driving 15 miles an hour.
Yep. Facts.
It's like, come on, guys, it's not that bad. I mean, we're not dealing with ice here, remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well. Okay. So where are you, Joel?
Joel, ¿dónde está?
We're missing Joel. I didn't know you spoke Spanish.
A little bit. Yeah, I took it in high school, but now I had to recycle it because my brother married a woman from Barcelona. I believe she's from Barcelona. Oh. So, had to dig that back up. Plus, my best friend's Puerto Rican, so it goes in and out.
Oh, that's nice. All right.
Rusty, you want to be on the podcast today? Or are you waiting for the mamas?
We are going to get started, folks. We just lack an essential component. We don't have a Joel.
No, Joel. Oh, no.
Other than that, we're doing fine. How are you?
Yeah. No.
Let's see. Where is Joel?
Well, while we're live, I'd like to give a shout out to a new old friend of mine, Alexander Belsky. He should be watching right now. And I guess we went to high school together. I don't remember him, but he was friends with my friends.
Okay.
Remember I was telling you this yesterday? I was like, I don't know you, sir.
Yeah, that's true. You did tell me about that.
Well, we ended up talking the entire day yesterday, and he's really cool. So
that's nice.
We're going to be fast friends.
How big was your graduating class?
Ooh, I don't know. Well, see, this is the thing. He's 2 years behind me. So I was like, you weren't even on my radar, sir. Like, I only paid for the class of 02. I don't.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you were in my brother and sister's class, Rusty, I am on the phone. I know she's up. Well, she will open the door when she gets here. Okay. This one always talks back to me. The other one, she just looks at me, but this one has an attitude problem.
Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, let's see. I got a message saying he's on and sees both of us.
Well, we don't see you or hear you. I don't even see that you're here.
Maybe, Joel, if you hear us, maybe restart your app.
Yeah.
That's about all I can think of because we're not seeing you at all.
No. Technical difficulties, folks.
Yeah. Huh. I mean, he's not even in the list.
No. Hashtag where's Joel?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, you know what? I think that message was from last time he was on.
Okay, so now we really don't know where he is.
Because it gave me a new date.
Oh.
Well, message was delivered anyway. I mean, step in the right direction, don't you think?
Yeah. Time to upgrade your phone.
Yeah, but I did it with a phone that's 12 years old. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It actually worked, Oh, jeez. There was something else I was going to tell you about. I can't remember what it was.
Brain fart.
Probably has to do with the show with the grass is greener. So, which means I'll remember it by the end of the podcast. Yeah.
Cool. If you remember, just raise your hand.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we just get started and hopefully he'll show up.
This podcast waits for no man.
All right. So let's start the music. Cue the music. Here we go. Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with Alex King and hopefully soon Joel Elston. Today is Thursday, June the 20th, 2019. It is 8 a.m. in New York, 5 a.m. Los Angeles, 1 p.m. in London, 10 p.m. in Sydney, Australia. But wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us for another episode of LOA Today, your daily dose of happy. And we're hoping Joel's going to be joining us soon here. We put out a Silver Joel alert. So if anyone has spotted Joel...
Is it silver because he's older? Because he's too old to be an Amber Alert.
Yeah, I thought Amber was a little bit inappropriate. So yeah. Plus, it's really embarrassing when the cop finds you and says, "Oh, there's an Amber Alert out for you. You have to come with me." You know?
Are you speaking from experience?
I'm speaking from a vivid imagination. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
So we're hoping Joel's going to be able to join us real soon because we haven't talked to him in a couple of weeks and we miss him. He's our buddy. And,
he is.
You know, it's fun. Plus, he has some of the best stories that we ever tell here on the podcast. We need those stories.
Facts.
Louise and I were talking about stories. In fact, we were talking about, Cindy and I were talking about stories yesterday, too, during Neville Day. And we realized, based on something that Neville said, that there is a direct parallel between storytelling and building belief. Literally, the way Neville was describing storytelling is exactly the way Abraham would describe building belief, and that is thinking it over and over again.
Yep.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Think about the stories that we make for ourselves. I mean, every thought process we develop is basically a story that we're telling about ourselves. And in that story, we are inventing it as we go along, and we keep embroidering and expanding, and it takes shape, it takes form over time.
Yes.
That's exactly what happens when we build a belief. So storytelling is really the art of building belief.
I mean, that's the basis of religion altogether, like storytelling from the Bible. So religion, they build beliefs,
philosophy,
everything,
any kind of entertainment that exists. You know, ever since the very first time that the cavemen were sitting around the fire, they started going, and the other person was going,
That's true. I mean, I wasn't there, but it's true. You were there.
Well, the third day got a little bit boring because they heard the same joke over and over again. So
dad jokes in the beginning.
Oh, of course. That's one of the ways we have fun around here, right? Telling dad jokes.
Yes.
Making up a dad joke. And I'm not even a dad, for goodness sake.
Did you get my dad joke that I tagged you in the other day?
I don't remember what.
I think it was it about Airplane, the movie?
Oh, yes. I don't even remember what. Oh, it was Don't Call Me Shirley. That was the one.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
I was like, should I try to memorize it and then tell it to him? Or no, I'm just going to tag him because it's too long.
Yeah, that was cute. Cute. So, well, I don't know what's going to happen with Joel. I don't know if he's going to show up, but until he comes, why don't we just make up our own topic and just go with it? And
sounds like a plan.
If he arrives, I'm hoping he does arrive. Then we'll.
I hope nothing happened to him because this is very unlike him.
So too. Very much. Yeah. Normally, I mean, if something is going to stop him from being part of the show, he'll alert me. He'll send me a text or send me a Facebook Messenger message or something, but nothing. So, Joel, wherever you are, we need you. Where are you? But the good news is we are continuing to have progress with the
Mm-hmm.
grass screener.
Yes.
We now have an unofficial official rating for the show.
Yep.
We came to a decision jointly among the three of us, you, me, and PJ,
Mm-hmm.
that we are aiming for a PG show. Now, there are no actual rating system. There's no Motion Picture of America ratings for podcasts.
This is just our personal opinion.
That's right. But
Mm-hmm.
we're doing it not because we believe in a rating system, but because we want to appeal to a wider audience.
Right.
And I think that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we need a little bit more of, I think. There's
Yeah.
been so much aimed at what I'll generically call the R rating, although there are a lot of ratings today.
Yeah.
That, you know, what about people who are under 18?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And do we have to come up with some sort of way to justify showing them something that's violent or angry or, highly charged sexual or something in order to show a movie? I mean, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that they should never be exposed to anything like that, but everyone? I mean, come on.
Yeah, something's got to break it up.
Yeah. You can't actually get to the feel-good part unless you have some sort of influences about feeling good. That's one of the reasons we do this podcast.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm glad we came to that consensus together. And by the way, Charlie Hodge, who's playing our host in the first episode, when I sent him a modified text on the actor release form based on that conversation, he loved it. He said, "Yes, absolutely." So
okay, good.
Yeah.
As long as we can make him and his wife happy, that'll be great. Yes.
So I think we're down to like 2 or 3 actors who haven't done the things we've asked for yet, including our 2 late recruits, our MJ recruit and our Miguel recruit. They're both kind of AWOL so far.
Well, I called Miguel.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I was like, hey, did you check your email? Because you have an intake form to pass in. Like, you got to check your emails regularly. This is the thing. You're going to get your rehearsal schedules and all that stuff. So I can't call you every time to let you know.
He's actually got at least 3 or 4 because you actually sent him one about the photo, right?
Yes, I did. Yes.
So he actually has 4 emails waiting for him.
Right. I'm just trying to, because sometimes stuff like this goes automatically into your spam folder. So I'm just making sure that that's
oh yeah, happen. That's true. Yeah.
Because so.
Well, hopefully he has. Well, if he has a Gmail account, they're usually pretty good.
Yes. No, he's got Yahoo.
Oh, God forgive him. I mean,
we're Yahoo people.
Yeah, Yahoo is for people who love spam.
Facts. I get a lot of spam.
I mean, they have literally. Now, I know something about IT in the world of email and websites and so forth. And I tell you, they have absolutely the worst anti-spam system of any provider on the planet, except for one, and that would be AOL. They're actually worse.
People are still using AOL. That's a thing.
Really? Oh, yeah. Well, the people who are still on AOL are people who are really, really technophobic. They learn one thing and they don't want to have to learn something else. They'll put up with almost anything to not have to learn something else. So yeah, there are actually a lot of people who are still AOL email users.
Wow.
And boy, do I feel sorry for them.
Me too.
It's just, but yeah. I can't tell you how many times I have had to deal with email issues that couldn't be delivered to either Yahoo or AOL.
Yes.
I mean, it's crazy.
And what is iCloud? Because Mr. Poe it goes to iCloud, and I tried to email him yesterday and it bounced back to me. And then I emailed him again and it went through.
iCloud is part of the Apple family. So
I knew it.
I knew it, yeah.
Goddamn fruit phones.
Speaking on behalf of the fruit phones, I'd like to say that my fruit phone has lasted 12 years without a hitch. So
well, that's because you don't have any cool stuff on your phone. Like you don't abuse your phone like we do.
This is true. Yeah. But on the other hand, I mean, how many devices last 12 years anymore?
I mean, if you don't drop it.
I actually have dropped it.
Okay.
And it doesn't have a protective case either.
Blasphemy.
I'm telling you, it doesn't have it does have a few scratches on the screen, but other than that.
You don't have a screen protector either?
No.
Actually, I don't think they came out back then.
Well, I know they had cases. I don't know if they had a
Yeah.
screen protector. Yeah, no, I can think of one that had a screen protector at that time. Yeah.
For the 4, I know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they started at the 6.
No, I know of one that you could buy. I don't know if it was one of the high-end companies. I can't remember what the names of the companies are, but the ones that became really famous. But I remember seeing one.
Oh, I don't do high-end companies. I do Amazon. My phone case was $12.99.
I don't know how to tell you this. Amazon is one of the biggest companies on the planet.
Well, but it's not. Listen, I don't pay high-end for anything.
Okay, I got you.
The most I've spent was $75, and this was on 2 different products. One was on my Supernatural jacket, and the second one was I spent $69 on, not counting shipping, a dress, a custom-made dress for my best friend's wedding.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I can understand that, considering how much money people actually spend on weddings. That seems like a reasonable amount.
Well, I wasn't even in the wedding. I was just like, this is my best friend and my brother from another mother. I have to look fabulous.
Even so, I mean, guests often spend a lot going to weddings. That's the norm these days.
Yep.
I mean, I remember this is 20 years ago when Louise and I got married. This is when this trend was really getting going.
Yeah.
And this is an LOA story all by itself. I was trying to ask myself, I mean, we'd kind of talked about getting married. I hadn't really totally decided I wanted to ask her, but I was, pretty close to that. And we're figuring out the logistics of this thing. And I was saying to myself, this is going to be pretty expensive.
Yep.
Where's the money going to come from? I don't have any money.
Weddings, buying houses, and raising children are the most expensive things that you will do in your life if you choose to do those things.
Yeah, it's true. And the LOA part of the story was, I probably should have asked that question differently. Because we were in Rhode Island, where her family lives, and we were down at the beaches. It was middle of the week. It was like a Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. And after being at the beach for a bit and doing some other stuff, having a good time, we were really relaxed, feeling good. We decided to drive up to Cranston, where her family lived, and it was not my first time to meet them, but it was one of the first times. So it was just another get to know Walt kind of a thing.
Okay.
And we go out to the car from the beach, and Louise says to me, "Do you mind if I drive your car? I mean, I know the road's better than you. It's a lot easier than trying to explain the route."
True.
And then I said the most fateful words that you can possibly say. As I handed her the keys, I said, "Sure, just don't get into an accident."
Oh, boy. Stop.
Rusty, honestly, it comes out okay. Don't worry about it.
He was like, what?
So, needless to say, 15 minutes later, we're sitting on the side of the road with a wrecked car because...
Oh, my goodness. Because you manifested it.
Literally, there was... This is... anybody who knows Rhode Island, Route 2. Route 2 is a fairly well-traveled road.
Yeah.
And there was nobody on it.
Oh.
Alex, it was empty because it was the middle of the week on a work day. There was nobody on it.
How did y'all get in an accident?
A car coming the other direction. We're going this way. And about 100 yards from us, that driver, she pulls in front of us and stops in the middle of our lane.
What?
And we found out later it's because she wanted to find out if she was in the right place for the wedding.
Sir.
I mean,
stop it.
What a ditz. Anyway, Louise couldn't stop in time. What could you do? She slams on the brakes. We slam into the car. The car is totaled. Her car is totaled.
Yeah. All because she had a question.
And no presence of mind to realize that she was violating our right of way. Right.
Hello.
Well, anyway, we all end up in the hospital getting x-rays and so forth. Nobody got seriously injured. We had a lot of minor injuries. I mean, my nose got broken when the airbag punched me in the nose, and Louise had
I'm sorry, that's a minor injury?
Well, it looked bloody, but it really didn't hurt all that much. It was more like being stunned than anything else. It was like,
I've been hit with an airbag, so I totally know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah, they come in pretty quick, and Louise had
coming in hot.
Finger, but no serious injuries. I mean, it wasn't like any of us had to be hospitalized.
Right. Okay.
So that was good. But anyway, we're waiting to be. I'm on a gurney, and the other driver is on another gurney next to me, And I'm looking at her and I'm trying to look away like, no, don't go there. Before I even knew about LOA, I just knew that was going to turn into something I didn't want to go into. Finally, she says to me, so what happened?
Ma'am.
And I said, well, you pulled in front of us and stopped in our lane and we had nowhere to go. And she says, I don't remember that.
Mm-hmm. She's getting her insurance story straight right now.
And for that moment, up until that point, I was forgiving. I was unhappy, but at that point, it's like, oh, me. You are dead, girl. I mean, there's nothing going to. This is going to come out so badly for you.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm glad I wasn't in the car because I would have beat her up.
But I also have to give her credit for one thing. She chose the right insurance company. She did. Should I mention the insurance company? Yeah, why not?
Sure, why not?
Now, of course, I have to try to remember what the actual name is. It's Progressive Insurance.
Okay, yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're very good because, well, at least from my perspective, because their rep came out to see me, and the first words out of her mouth were, "We admit that we're at fault."
Nice.
I said, "Oh, well," and then I could relax, which I'm sure is why she said that.
Yeah, she wanted to put you at ease.
So I was like, okay, well, then this is all going to work out okay. Mm-hmm. That accident paid for the wedding.
That, you know what? Let me recap this story. Okay. So the woman who you crashed into, who was on her way to a wedding.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Her stupidness paid for your wedding.
Exactly.
Great LOA story. Great.
Plus a new car.
Okay. You know what?
And an engagement ring.
Okay.
So
all right.
You really can't attract these things. You just have to be a little careful about how you do it.
Yeah. The universe is listening at all times.
Oh my goodness. And of course, this is about, give or take, about 12 years before I had heard about about 8 years before I heard of law of attraction for the first time.
Yeah.
So it was going to be a while before I made all the connections.
Right.
But once I made all the connections, it was an duh moment.
Like, oh my God.
Wow. Yeah, that was crazy. But we had a nice wedding, so that was good.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you guys had a nice wedding.
Well, it was actually a wedding where we got a lot of compliments for people saying, you have some of the nicest friends.
Aww.
And in fact, the way Louise laid out the seating arrangement.
Oh my God, that's like the most challenging part of the wedding is the seating arrangement.
She did what you're not supposed to do. She grouped at each table, half of the table were my friends and the other half were her friends.
I think that's how it should be done. Everybody gets to know each other.
It worked great.
Yeah.
And the way that Louise knew the symbolic moment that told her it had really worked great was when she saw one of my friends and one of her friends going to the ladies' room together, having us chat, having this great time.
Oh, okay.
No, not that kind.
It's a wedding.
Not like this. No.
It happens.
No, I mean like friendly, like, just friends kind of a thing. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're here. Okay.
Yeah. It was wonderful. And plus also, now I think I've told you I was very much into swing dancing at the time.
Right.
A number of my friends were swing dancers.
Oh, so the dancing must have been great at the wedding.
We had the best floor show of any wedding in existence. I mean, it was great.
Well, wait till mine.
Okay.
Yeah, wait. It's going to be a whole situationship, let me tell you.
All right. Well, that's cool.
I don't know who the groom is yet, but I got plans. Okay.
Okay. So to future groom, make note. The wedding is planned.
Yes.
And actually, I'll put that out as a note to any soon-to-be groom. This is your bride-to-be's day. This is not your day, right? Your day is the rest of your lives together. And when you find, first of all, that means you do everything you need to do in order to help her have the day that she's always dreamed of.
Right.
But the other thing that you do is when she starts getting so stressed out that she can't handle it, you remind her, this is just the party. The good part is what comes afterward, where we live the rest of our lives together.
Okay. See, that may have worked for y'all before social media. Okay. But nowadays, it's a whole new level of pressure. Okay.
Well, yeah, argue for all the pressure you want, and it's yours. I mean,
Touche.
You can pile on the pressure so high that you're squashed under it if you really, really want
No,
to.
not me. I don't roll that way.
I kind of like to have strategies to get out from under out from under the pressure myself. I think it's actually better to get away from the pressure and not to actually be, crushed by it.
Well, I'm just talking about for the brides that I know that were expressing, like, should we do a full out bridesmaid groomsmen dance ensemble? Should we do, because people put stuff on YouTube and it adds levels, and everybody's trying to impress each other, and it's like, it's not that serious though.
It's not about impressing.
No, it's not.
That's the other thing. Don't try to impress everybody. It's not about impressing. It's about having fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a wedding is. It's a celebration.
Exactly.
It's a celebration of a beginning of a lifelong relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what it should be. It should be treated like a celebration, not as, oh my God, I have to get the job. That's not what it is.
I have to get the job. You got the ring. You got the job, girl.
I mean, you don't want to hear. Here's an old throwback. You don't want to hear the song from a chorus line. I need this job. Oh God, I need this. You don't want that going on in your head. Right?
Oh my God. I can't with you.
Okay. Well, that's loaded with who knows what. We'll just leave that one alone.
Nope. It's ingrained. It's here now. It's here forever. And it's recorded, so I can always go back to it.
Which is a very good thing.
You can't unsee this.
That's true. All this stuff that we're doing, we're doing it for eternity, or at least as long as the hard drives hold out, one or the other.
Yep. The internet is forever.
Mm-hmm. I've often wondered about that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know the way it's handled now. Like if you have an internet server, or if you're using somebody's cloud server or whatever, basically they were able to hot swap out drives and so forth. But what happens if, let's say, there's some sort of, I don't know, calamitous type event, and now all of a sudden, for whatever reason, there aren't enough hard drives? I mean, how much information just disappears?
We'll be going back to the Stone Age. That's what'll happen.
Or at least to the 1980s.
Oh my God. I don't even want to think about that time. Like the day I had AIM was like the beginning of my world.
And what happens, like, if Google decides, oh, we're done with YouTube?
Well, they better revive it on another situation like they do with TV shows. Because I can't handle it.
I mean, does Congress declare it a national monument so it can't be torn down?
I don't think apps can be national monuments. But I like
wouldn't put anything past a politician. Politicians will declare anything they want to declare. I mean, let's be honest about that.
Very true. And it is a cluster fudge these days. So
is it a case where they would declare it as an essential life element that can never be destroyed?
Yeah, probably. I mean, maybe
maybe it becomes a basic human right. My right to.
I think it should be. Well, that was the argument when they tried to do, what was that thing they were trying to do with the internet? They were trying to monetize. They're trying to monetize the internet. So like you had to pay for certain apps.
This is news?
This No, but I mean like they were trying to monetize like Facebook and YouTube and like everything that we use for free. The government was trying to say, okay, if you want this, you got to get like basically a cable package for the internet. That's what they were trying to do.
Well, that was just to save the telephone companies.
Okay.
I mean, the telephone companies didn't like the fact they were being knocked out of business by, being able to make your phone calls over the internet. So, the government gave them the power to do the same thing that the cable companies could do, which they do now. Mm-hmm. And the government also said, well, you can also rope people in and force them into these large packages that they can't afford anymore.
Yeah. Because I was like, I'm already paying for data. I'm not paying for YouTube. No.
Which led to the cut the cord movement. But here's the interesting thing. Now let's go to law of attraction here. Uh-huh. What roles do you see law of attraction playing in there? Because I see a few of them, but I'm curious to know what you think. What do you see in terms of how law of attraction is playing out there?
I mean, I saw it bringing the world together and getting everyone in an uproar and saying, no, we don't want this to happen. And it didn't happen. And the more people that believe that, no, this ain't, I was like, it ain't gonna pass. And it didn't. And so that's how it worked for me.
To me, the whole thing, because actually we still have expensive cable packages. I mean, that part remained.
I mean, I get a good discount.
Well, that's good. That's good. But,
but I've also been with my cable company for like 10 years. So.
But it's also getting to the point where the cable bill is almost on par with the food bill. So it's becoming fairly serious,
Yes, it is. But in my life, it's vital, so I'll pay it.
You may not have food to eat, but by God, the cable will be there.
I may be eating air for dinner, but damn it, I'm watching a good show.
And losing weight at the same time. How about that?
That's right. That's what I'm saying. My cable company's helping me out in all areas of life. So take my money. Take my money.
But that's all law of attraction.
Exactly.
And that's my point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's very easy, for instance, to complain about how high cable costs are, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we can also change the way we think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, like, I know you wouldn't do this because you're absolutely addicted to all the things television, but we're ready to pretty close to cutting the cable cord.
A lot of my friends are doing that.
A lot of people have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as that happens, and as more and more people focus on that, it has a very real world effect on the cable companies.
Mm-hmm.
And they're feeling it. They're already seeing signs of it. It's not like the CEOs are at risk of losing their mansions. That's not a risk right now.
Right.
No, they're doing just fine. There's plenty of profitability, but they are seeing elements toward the downturn. And
yeah, they are concerned. They are concerned, especially with the beginning of Fire Sticks coming out.
Yeah, that's definitely played a role.
I mean, I have a Fire Stick, and I definitely could cut the cord if I really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I can't. I think I'm comfortable.
You just touched on it. I
am complacent.
You get into your comfort zone, and in that comfort zone, you don't want to change anything.
Yeah.
And so where do your thought process go? It goes to, I need to keep the same thing going. And so you do.
But I changed it a little bit because like when I was, I like every other month I'll call and I'm like, hey, you guys got any discounts for me? And then, because you never know. You never know until you ask. And so this last time that they reduced my bill, they were like, well, if you take this package, it doesn't include this channel, this channel, this channel. And I think only one of the channels I actually watched, but I was like, I have a Fire Stick. I'll just, watch it on there. And so I was like, okay with that. I was like, all right, I'll, catch up on my episodes. It'll be fine. And I ended up getting like half off my package. So I'm slowly weeding myself to just paying for internet.
So you like pulling the Band-Aid off one hair at a time.
You know what? I have hairy arms, so that's the only way to do it.
Oh, that's funny. Well, actually, more on a more serious note, though. I mean, there are probably a lot of people who don't know about how you use a Fire Stick to do this stuff. I mean, they're not so much people in your generation, but more in my generation. So tell people, how do you do that? I mean, how do you use a Fire Stick to avoid having to pay a cable bill? That sounds pretty strange.
I'm gonna prerequisite this is low key illegal. So, but only low key. So, but everybody does it. So it's like slap on the wrist type of stuff.
So, anyway, so this is gray market is what this is. This is gray area.
Yeah. So it's you go to Amazon, you buy a Fire Stick, or from where you can buy it jailbroken, or you can jailbreak it yourself when you get it. And it's very simple.
You gotta explain that term too.
Oh, jailbreak means to basically you put an app on your Fire Stick, so it opens up the internet, so you can download all the links to every single movie, every single TV show. Everything is on there. Like I have access to Japanese shows if I wanted to. Like everything is on there.
And a Fire Stick, let's also define that too. It's this little thing. It's like about 2 inches long, maybe a little bit less.
Mm-hmm.
You plug it into your computer in the USB port.
No, you plug it into your TV.
Oh, you plug it into the TV. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. And when you plug it into the TV, it's basically acting like a hard drive for the TV.
I mean, it can be because I have the ability to download the movies if I want to, but I just stream them. So yeah. because I'm not one to go back and watch a movie again usually.
I mean, I guess my point is that's what the original concept was for a Fire Stick. It wasn't to actually try to beat your cable bill.
Yeah, right. Well, they do have like the whole thing is it's connected to Amazon. So if you have Amazon Prime, they have, you can watch all your Amazon Prime shows. They also have some channels that are on there, like I think CW's on there, CBS is on there, Fox is on there. So you can, and you can also, if you want to do it the legal way, you can pay for like Netflix and have it on your Fire Stick. You can pay for Hulu, have it on your Fire Stick. Like it's like, Roku or, any other device that you want that's not cable, So,
now there's a whole bunch of new terms that people are saying, what are those? I don't know what a Roku is. Probably some people who don't even know what a Netflix is, believe it or not.
Well, thank you for figuring out how to watch this podcast.
That's right, yes. We appreciate that very much.
If you can do at least that, you're heading in the right direction.
I was actually noticing that too about technology names, because the technology names have gotten to the point now where the name doesn't evoke what the service is.
No, not at all.
And then they start throwing in acronyms.
Yes.
And now you have to know what you literally, Google has become a necessity. Without Google, you can't figure out what the either that or else you have to know an 18-year-old, one or the other. I mean,
you need a millennial in your life.
That's right. But the acronyms are what get me crazy. I mean, at least with the brand names, I can kind of appreciate, okay, they're trying to establish their own brand. But acronyms, like, why are acronyms so important?
Now, which acronym are you?
Oh, God, there are so many of them. Well, tied into the TV industry, PVR, and then DVR.
Oh, DVR. What is PVR?
It's the same thing.
What?
Personal video recorder as opposed to digital video recorder. It's the same thing.
I don't like it.
Two different acronyms that mean absolutely no difference at all.
I don't like it.
But so why was it so necessary to create a second acronym?
Yeah.
One wasn't enough? But you run into stuff like that all the time, especially if you're in IT. You just see all this stuff. It's like, what were these people thinking? Or maybe it's, what were they smoking? I mean, it could be anything.
At this point, it really could be anything.
It could be anything.
Mushrooms are legal, so in some states.
And we're really getting away from law of attraction in one sense, but I'm going to come back to it in a moment.
All over the place today.
We are, yeah.
Well, hold on. Let me bring you back to how to jailbreak your Fire Stick. Let me finish.
Oh, yes, we didn't finish that. I'm sorry.
Because people are like, I'm writing it down, but you stop talking.
That's right.
You're cute, but I don't know what you're saying.
Put your ears back on.
Okay, so basically the way I did it was, because I was like, okay, I need a friend who knows how to do this and to walk me through it. And that's how I did it the first time. The guy who's playing Miguel, he jailbroke my Fire Stick the first time. Then he wasn't available when I needed to update it, because back then you needed the app didn't update itself, so you had to update it once it stopped working. Or the link would be the app would be taken down because, like I said, it's low-key illegal, so you had to download another one. But now I found one that works for me, and what I did was I just looked it up on YouTube. And and you just follow the directions step by step, and they give you the code to put in and everything, and then
See, now there's a whole bunch of YouTube listeners who are really upset because now you've given Google another reason to take YouTube down.
I prerequisited the whole conversation, so.
No, I'm kidding. There's no way.
Asterisk.
If Google ever tried to take YouTube down, I think it would be the first ever
worldwide riot,
worldwide revolution against a private corporation.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about a protest here.
Yeah. No, we're talking about rioting in the streets.
We're talking about armies of people, organized into legions. Let my YouTube go.
Oh my God. Seriously, I wouldn't know what to do without YouTube sometimes. Like I was like, yesterday when we had that conversation, I was like, oh, I got to find that video so they know what I'm talking about.
Oh, right.
And I was like, I couldn't find the hands out of the window video. Ooh. dropped you. Couldn't find my hand out of the window video, but I did end up finding the Grey's Anatomy episode that I was talking about. So
let's do a little spoiler here because I think this is really an important one. A lot of people, anyone who does not have dark skin, has never heard this story before. Most of them haven't. So
unless they watched that episode of Grey's Anatomy, then they
saw that one.
They were awoken.
Yes, but tell people about that because I mean I can't say I was shocked to hear it. I can't even say I was surprised, but my eyes were open. Like, oh wow, I'm glad to hear that people are taking action to protect themselves. That's a good thing. So talk about that.
Okay, so yesterday, Walt, me and PJ were talking about the Talk episode of Grey's Anatomy. For those of you who've seen it and those of you who haven't seen it, it constitutes what's going on in the world right now, which is young Black men and some women being shot for no particular reason, except for the fact that the police are in fear of, being shot themselves. So they're shooting out of fear. So what happened in the episode was there was a young Black man who lost his keys and decided to go in a side window, like we've all done, once in our lives. But you can't do that nowadays because now you're a young Black man. You look like you're breaking in somewhere, even if you explain, this is my house, So he ended up being shot, and he was 13 years old. He ended up being shot and went to the hospital, ended up dying. And this prompted a lot of the Black characters to talk about the whole situation. And a conversation was had by one of the doctors had said something. Rusty
is upset about this.
Rusty's upset. He's woke. He knows.
Yeah.
The conversation was had that the policeman shouldn't have shot him. Excuse me, sir. Please hold. I'll be back.
We have a dog emergency, folks. This is only a dog emergency. Please do not change the image on your screen.
He'll be quiet. He just barked when my mother's up because he's like, I want to come too. So, what are we doing? Where are we going?
Well, anyway. I'm glad he's not upset about the other, so that's good.
No. So anyways, so towards the end of the episode, to the one Black doctor couple that is married, they don't have a son together. That's beside the point. They have a son, and they decided he's about the same age. He's in that 13-year-old range, and they said it's time to have the talk. Now, most people, when they hear the talk, they think the sex talk, the birds and the bees. But for Black families going from the 50s and on, probably further than that, but as far as I know, from the 50s and on, have to have the talk with, with Black gentlemen and how to react to the police so you can come home safely. And now it's gotten to the point, there was a video that I had witnessed where a Black father was showing his son, because he had just got his license, and he said, okay, if you get pulled over, these are the things you need to do. Most people are doing the keep your hands on the steering wheel and letting the policeman know every movement you're about to make. Like, okay, on the count of 3, I'm reaching for my wallet. 1, 2, 3, and you slowly reach for your wallet. But now it's gone to the situation where you need both hands out the window so the policeman can see you are unarmed, you are not, resisting arrest or anything or causing any trouble. There's no reason for him to be in fear. And you have your license, your registration, and insurance information all in a little plastic visor with a lanyard on it. Put it on top of your car. So the policeman, anything he needs, he can grab from the top of your car. You don't have to reach for anything. So there's no reason for him to think, or them to think that that you're reaching for a gun. So there's no reason for you to not go home or go home in a body bag. So yeah,
okay,
that's what's going on right now.
Yeah, and it's understandable. I mean, that's a good common sense way of dealing with stuff.
Yeah,
you have to keep yourself safe.
Yes.
And the thing I particularly like about it, from the way you described it, was there doesn't seem to be much of a fear angle going on there, other than trying to allay the fears of the police officer. In other words, it's not like trying to scare the kid at all, which is good, because now that's putting the kid into a better frame of mind and a better feeling place than it could otherwise be. And I was impressed when you were describing it. I thought that's really good. I like that.
Yeah. That's why I like that video. I felt, and I should have posted it actually, but when I saw it, because I can't find it anymore.
No.
I like the fact that that's what was happening, that he was teaching him, live role playing situation,
Yeah.
as opposed to just, talking to him, face to face. But yeah, it was, like I said, I wasn't surprised, but I liked what they did with it. I liked that they put everything on top of the car, and I was like, okay, that's a better situation than the count to 3 with your hands on the steering wheel. Because even with your hands on the steering wheel, you go to reach for anything, the policeman automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad to hear that you say that it goes into a plastic packet, because
Yeah.
I kept thinking about that gust of wind.
Well, that's what the lanyard and the packet is for,
So what is the lanyard attached to?
The lanyard is hanging down in your window, so that helps you with the wind.
But that's still a quick motion. I mean, if it starts to blow away, you have to reach for it, and all of a sudden
your hands are already out the window, so you could be holding on to it.
So you could hold on to it. Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of it. Maybe you put it on the roof of the car, but you hold on to the lanyard so it doesn't.
Or you keep your hands out the window, but put the lanyard on your wrist.
Okay. Yeah.
So that way you're still doing this. Because if you're doing this, I don't know. That's sketchy to me.
Well, either one could be. I mean, you can create all kinds of negative scenarios. The point, though,
the
point is you're trying to keep it as a positive scenario, as positive as you can make it, which is good. Yeah. And I shouldn't even say positive. I'm trying to get away from positive, negative. It's hard. We're so used to saying positive and negative,
True.
But it's the preferred scenario.
Yes.
The preferred scenario is the one where you're feeling better about it. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm glad that, thanks for telling that story. And we're going to try to include that in an episode of The Grass is Greener to help, pass that message along to everybody, because everybody needs to know about that. I mean, PJ and I had never heard of that before.
Well, that was the thing. This was a very famous episode of Grey's Anatomy because there's millions of people who watch Grey's Anatomy, and they had no idea, because majority of the people who watch Grey's Anatomy are white. No offense, but
no, I'm not offended. And I don't even watch Grey's Anatomy.
What's the talk? And why does this have to happen? Like, they're in the Facebook groups of Grey's Anatomy, people were like, "Why does this have to happen?" I'm like, "Are you watching the news? What do you mean? Why does this have to happen?"
Hey, you don't have to watch the news. I mean, I've been avoiding the news. It still seeps through. You can't avoid it.
It does. So yeah, it's insane. It's crazy out there, and you gotta, as a Black person, you have to take extra steps to make sure you get home alive every day.
And that's the value of it. That's why I think it's so good that everybody is hearing about this, and we're going to help pass that word around, because it just kind of helps to put into perspective what's really going on, and perhaps even influence for the preferred as opposed to for the positive, where we want things to go. I think there's going to be, I mean, I've said this before. I'm not a Trump fan. I'm not a Donald Trump fan. I admire his ability as a deliberate creator. I don't admire his choices at all, but he is very clearly good at attracting into his life what he wants in his life.
Yeah.
But by the same token, it's also been watching and being a part of a country where Donald Trump plays such a major role has been a bit of an eye-opener for everybody. And I will include the MAGA hat wearers, his supporters. It's an eye-opener for them, too. They may not see it that way yet in the way that I'm referring to it, but it has been. And I fully and completely believe that even though Trump has been doing a lot of things that many people don't like, he is laying groundwork for massive change that he himself would be against.
Yes, facts.
But he's laying that groundwork in a way that no Democrat could possibly do. Just by providing, this is the way deliberate creation works. We go into the contrast, as Abraham calls it, which is we go into life where there are things that we like and things that we don't like. And by exploring for some period of time the things that we don't like, it becomes really, really clear to us. We don't like that. We want this instead. And that's what's happening here. There's a massive we don't like this going on. So that's why I think to myself, there's going to be a massive we like this instead coming right afterward.
Yeah.
And when you have that, there's going to be some shifts, seismic shifts going on. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on that I don't particularly like. But I keep looking to that future. I say this future is bright.
For example, you can say, when Trump decided that transgender people can't be in the military, That started a whole wave of now transgender rights and transgender living in your truth and transgender everything now.
Absolutely.
So it's like, see what you're doing? You poke the bear and then you get what you don't want. That's what happens.
Right. Well, immigration, I think everybody can agree that's his biggest issue.
Mm-hmm.
And for the life of me, I still don't understand what the issue is. I mean, I can on the surface say, yes, I understand that people are upset about people who are in the country illegally. What I don't fully grasp is why they're so upset about that.
Yeah. Like, who cares? How is it affecting us?
What's the risk?
Yeah.
You know, and you get a lot of vague arguments. Oh, well, that's how terrorists get in and so forth. But you actually look at the evidence, and the terrorists don't come in that way.
No.
So, the argument falls apart pretty quickly. But nevertheless,
if you take a look at all the school shootings, and if you look at the list of the people who are actually doing the shooting with the semi-automatic weapons that they want to ban, they're all white. Sorry. They're all white. None of them are Spanish or any other race. I'm just saying, and none of them are any other race that you're trying to kick out. They're your peoples. Okay, so figure that one out.
Well, we won't go there because we don't like. This isn't about being political. It's just simply
it's not.
It's about trying to observe a trend, and the trend is pretty clear. The trend is, I mean, even in this case that we're describing right here. Mm-hmm. We're getting a huge snootful of what we don't prefer.
Yes.
A huge amount of it. And Trump is actually providing a stellar example of what happens when you focus on what you don't like. I mentioned immigration because he likes to harp on immigration issues under President Obama and President Bush before him and Clinton before him and so forth. But when you look at actual number of illegals coming into the country or trying to come into the country, there was a slow increase during all those years. And then Trump got elected, and I swear to God, it was like a hyperbolic curve.
Well, because they're like, this is our last chance. We got to get in before they put up the wall.
Whatever the reason is, my point is he kept focusing on all these people, all these illegals are trying to break in. And guess what happened? All these illegals tried to break in. Yeah. It wasn't that he was reacting to something that was already happening. He created the situation.
Facts.
He created it through law of attraction. And that's the part that baffles me a little bit, because he is so good at this. He's so good at attracting what he wants using the law of attraction. And yet, despite that fact, there seem to be some glaring lapses of understanding in his.
Yeah, I feel like he doesn't know what he's doing. It's just the way the universe works. I don't think he has a clue about law of attraction.
Well, I don't know. These days, you can do almost anything with a photo. So I don't know if this is a genuine photo that I saw, and I haven't been able to find it since then. But I saw a photo of Donald Trump talking to Esther Hicks.
Really?
Yeah. Now, it could have been a doctored photo. I said, I haven't been able to find it since then. But the suggestion was that Trump had at one point gone to a Hicks workshop. Well, Abraham is who Esther Hicks voices.
Right.
And Abraham is pretty clear on how this works. So either the photo was doctored and Trump has no idea who Esther Hicks really is, or he was there and he wasn't paying attention.
I think it was the latter.
It could be either one. I could make an argument for either one. All I do know is if he has learned how to do this stuff just by learning it, not by picking it up from Abraham or from Neville Goddard or Napoleon Hill or whoever else you want to pick, Tony Robbins, I don't care. If he hasn't picked it up from somebody like that, then he's just kind of learned it by osmosis, which can be done.
It can be done.
And he's learned it through his experience as a crooked real estate dealer. Oh, no, did I say that?
Oh, my God.
My point is he's learned it. He learned it along the way. He learned it just through doing stuff.
Yeah.
And yet there's this big gap in his learning. And that intrigues me. It just intrigues me. I mean, we see it in social media. We see people who don't understand that. Well, the law of attraction also applies to things that you focus on that you don't like. Because that kind of makes sense. People kind of figure like, well, that's only for when you want to attract something. It's not for when you don't want to attract something.
Right. They think that law of attraction is like this magic genie that just grants all your wishes.
And in The Secret, it was a magic genie.
True.
And he was big and purple, and he had this. He was great, actually. He was wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows he was also a person of color, but, well, that's another thing.
Most genies are.
Most genies are.
Seriously, because genies are slaves. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. That was a big theme in Aladdin too.
Yep.
And I got to ask you, do you like the new Aladdin compared to the
I
old Aladdin?
loved it. Will Smith did his thing.
I give him credit for even trying that role.
Well, he wasn't sure about it because he was like, "Listen, I can't top Robin Williams. I can't."
No, you can't.
And then he heard the soundtrack and he saw what he wanted to do with the soundtrack, and then he was like, "Okay, you know what?
Good for him. That takes some nerve to do that.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. That's really hard. What's the young woman who tried to replay Mary Poppins? I can't think what her name is. But I mean, she took on an iconic role, a major iconic role, and I honestly think she was doomed from the start. There was nothing she could have done, but she did great. She did a great job.
It's not like the same situation for Will Smith because he was, going from cartoon to live action.
Yes,
but Mary Poppins was already live action.
She was.
Like, you have huge shoes to fill, ma'am.
Well, plus also, the Robin Williams role was like one, maybe two generations. The Mary Poppins role was like 6 generations. So
no.
Much bigger thing.
That's well, that's true. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So there's a whole lot more people to piss off. Yeah. Oh God, yeah. So I give Emily. Is that her name?
Was it Emily Blunt? Was it?
Blunt, yes. Emily Blunt. That's who it is. Yes. See, that's the kind of thing Louise and I do. One of us will name the first name, the other one will come up with the last name. That's good.
Yep.
Thank you. That's a game I know. So.
I only like her because she's married to John Krasinski, and he went from The Office Jim to this totally hot superstar. Like, I don't know what gym you went to after you finished being Jim, but her, hello.
He grew into it. Let's put it that way.
He sure did. Saw him in The Quiet Place. I was like, what is happening? Okay. Good movie, by the way, The Quiet Place. And Emily Blunt plays his wife in the movie. So I like that part.
Oh, okay. I don't even know the title. So we only have a few minutes left, so give us a little movie review. Why not?
I wasn't going to watch it originally because the whole movie is silent. So what happened?
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's a throwback to silent movies, but like it kind of plays on it. So what happens is it's in the future and there's these aliens that have, encompassed the earth and they're killing everybody off. But the thing is they can't see, they can only hear. So you have to stay completely silent. You can't make any noise. And so the rest of the world has just become accustomed to being completely silent. So everybody learns sign language, You don't wear shoes anywhere. You walk on the softest grass, you don't make any noise. So like I said, the whole movie's silent. And then we get to the point where Emily Blunt is pregnant. So she's got to give birth.
Oh boy. Yeah. How do you do that?
Oh yes. Without screaming. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to spoil it, but that's basically what the movie's about. And it's intense. It's very suspenseful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be intense. Yeah. No doubt about it. Mm-hmm. Is there a law of attraction moment?
I'm going to say yes, because there's a little Lana in the movie. She's vying for her father's attention because she did something and thinks her father hates her, and then her father ends up doing something to show that it wasn't about her, but he deeply loved her, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't want to spoil it because
it's not only an LOA moment, it's a happy LOA moment.
No, it's like sad, but it's like, oh, okay, get it though. I get it.
Cathartic, maybe?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, cathartic, I think, has a happy side to it.
Yeah.
Because there's a tremendous relief whenever there's a catharsis.
Yeah. You definitely feel good after the movie, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. Okay. When you said it was a silent movie, I was trying to remember the last silent movie. And I think the last one I saw was many, many years ago, Mel Brooks' silent movie.
Okay.
which actually had one audio line in it.
Yeah. Well, there's sound, you can hear the aliens, and then there's certain things that make the aliens come, certain sounds that make the aliens come. So there is a little bit of sound, but like no one talks.
Well, in silent movie, everybody talks, but you can't hear them because it's a silent movie.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's about making a silent movie.
Yeah, exactly.
which is a cute theme. But the only person who had a line in it was the mime, Marcel Marceau.
So wait, the mime gets to talk?
The mime was the only one who got to talk.
That's hilarious.
And it was a one-word sentence because he was invited to be in the silent movie, and he rejected the idea. He said no, and that was it. That was the only line.
Oh my god.
I think that was the only time anybody had ever heard Marcel Marceau say anything at all.
And probably the last time.
Probably the last one. He was a great mime too. I've often wondered how many of the modern mimes mirrored him or mimicked him, literally.
I think probably all of them.
Yeah, because he was just brilliant. He was brilliant. No doubt about that. I think I just heard that. Oh, well, we got about 3 minutes left in the podcast, and I just heard the doorbell, which means our cleaning crew is here. So
okay.
I'm going to ask you to do me a favor.
Ooh.
I'm going to ask you to tell people how to subscribe to the podcast. Do you think you can
no problem. Yes,
so
I can.
You do that. I'm going to let the cleaning crew back in, and I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, you can go to loatoday.net and you can, there's a button that you can pick for your device, and it'll walk you through everything you need to do to get, to be able to get notifications, or I think it automatically downloads the episodes to your device. And then once you've done that, you can go to YouTube and go search for LOA Today podcast videos. And you can hit the subscribe button. And after you do that, you hit the little bell next to it, and it'll notify you every time we go live.
That was beautifully done.
Thank you.
I like that. I'm going to have you do this more often. You did that great.
I know.
A Star is Born.
A Star was born and set in October 17th, 1983 at 4:23 a.m. in a bathtub.
There's probably a whole story there, but we don't have time for it. I don't know. How quickly can you tell the story? We got like 2 minutes.
I mean, I just told the story.
No, that was it. That was pretty quick. Okay.
Yeah. I was my mother's first child, so she wasn't keen to labor. So she thought she had to go to the bathroom. Then she realized, no, this is the baby's coming. Called the ambulance. Again, it's 4:23 in the morning. So, and this is Boston 35 years ago. So the ambulance took a little too long getting there. So my father caught me. And,
it arrived the same day. That's a good thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other good thing was that there weren't a whole bunch of aliens who could only hear. So your mom didn't have to deal with that. I'm glad to hit.
Well, I was an easy birth because I was in a rush to get here on account of it was my birthday. So.
That's a good line. I like that.
Thank you.
That's a very good line. How long have you practiced that one? That was good.
Nope, just right now.
Right now? Oh, beautifully delivered, I must say.
I'm good like that.
See, and this is why I predict you're going to be launching your new acting career with The Grass is Greener.
Speaking of which, I just got an email that I have been picked up by a voiceover agent.
No kidding. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic.
Yes.
They hadn't even heard you in the script yet. I mean, wow.
No. Well, they heard my I saw it on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, one of them. And I said, they were like, if you want to test this out, send us some a little bit of what you can do. So I sent them my ad that I did for my podcast, spoiler alert. Mm-hmm. And they loved it. They were like, we think you do well commercially. Good. And we want to add you to our roster. And I was like, I'll think about it. Had my mom contract. My mom and Drew read the contract and everything looked good. So
very good. Congratulations. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
A career has been launched.
Yes.
It's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Well, that's a nice way to end the show. I like that.
Yes.
Before we go, do you have any spoilers you need to share with us?
Yes. Watch The In-Between. Very good show. The In-Between. It is a very good show. It's like Medium, if you remember that back in the day. And but on a different level. Like it's like the third episode was on last night, and I was like, okay, I can't even watch this at night.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning. This is too much. It's like a mini
intense.
horror movie every week. It's great. It's fantastic.
So you got to be a horror fan to like this.
Not a horror fan, but like you should at least believe in ghosts.
I see. So in other words, we have to be cowardly lions. I do believe in spirits. I do believe in spirits. I do believe in spirits.
Or at least be interested to see how the other side works.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, heck, if you like that, all you have to do is listen to LOA Today. We talk about that often. So. Well, it's been fun. I'm sorry that Joel didn't make it. I don't know what happened. Well, I'm not saying sorry that we.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry.
This was definitely a lot of fun. No, don't get me wrong. But I always like it when Joel's here, so we'll have to find out.
I am still concerned though.
Let me
text me if he calls you and we figure out what happened.
I will. I'm sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even if I'm not sure, I'm putting out there that I'm sure.
He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah. So we'll leave it at that. Anyway, Thank you very much. Thank you to our live stream listeners. Thank you to our podcast listeners as well. We will see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.